very good evening, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Tonight on the show, we catch up with an old friend, Santa Lucy Fungaro. You probably remember her from an episode we aired a year ago, but if you did not watch her story, here is some background. Santa is a poet and a writer. She's a university student who struggles with dermatomyositis, a condition that affects the muscles, the skin, tissues, and nerves. So the first time we met, do you remember what you told me?
Yes.
What did you say?
I am not contagious.
Well, that wasn't a message to me. It's the message you wanted to pass on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, sometime back this year, in January, someone said something to me that really touched me, something that I'd never heard before. The person walked up to me and told me, I can't be in the same group with you because you're contagious. That was one. Second time was a parent to a friend who told the person to stay away from me because I bring bad luck. I am contagious and my condition cannot be treated and I'm going to pass it on to this person. So I was like, it's okay. Truth is, I cried. And after crying, I was like, but why are you crying? What are you crying over? People are always going to talk, Santa. People are always going to talk. So the person insisted and kept on being friends with me. Then when the parents found out this person was badly beaten for being with me and they threatened to stop paying tuition. So he's like, Santa, you know what? We can be friends, but just don't come close to me. I'm like, it's okay. If you see me turn the other side, I'll also not talk to you. But then he kept on checking up on me and he's like, okay, this feels inhuman. You don't deserve this. I'm like, no. You need your parents. Blood is thicker than water. Then still they find out that we are talking. I don't know how. I think they had put spies to see if we are really talking. Yeah, they were that serious.
That's extreme.
They were that serious. They didn't want me to talk to those kids and they're like, I'm going to infect them. So they tell them, if I find you with that girl, actually they termed it in Luganda, Oyo muwala, alete ebisirani. I'm like, it's okay. Then they threatened to go to the media and write a story about me, how I want to infect their children with my condition. So that gave me an idea, and I'm like, you know what? You want to use the media, right?
Let me get there before you.
I'm not contagious, and I'm going to prove you wrong. You're just being ignorant about something that you think you know. So I'm going to come out and probably educate everyone else who thinks that I am contagious because I was really tired of the stigma. Today you wake up, someone is calling you this, someone is calling. I remember in school, some senior actually called me animal print.
What?
And I'm like, yes, I'm beautiful with my scars. And I walked away smartly because I was a prefect. So I told this boy to come and sweep because he was late. Then he's like, I don't listen to animal print. I'm like, damn, I'm beautiful with my scars. And I walked away. Like, I had this full confidence in me of, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, I will never go down. And I always cry in the dark.
Santa, it's really good to see you.
Thank you, Josephine. Thank you for having me back. It's a pleasure to be back in the studio with you.
All right. You're the one who taught me how to say dermatomyositis. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did, for the first time.
All right. Talk to me about COVID-19, the period that we've been in, the lockdown, and how you worked your way around it. Where were you when the lockdown was announced?
Well, lockdown found us at school. We hoped it was going to be for like the first 32 days, as they had said. We went back home hoping it would end. And as time went by, 32, 60, 70, and I had to think of what to do with myself. I began baking for birthdays. I began writing. I told you last year I was writing a book, Illusions. And yeah, I'm now at chapter 16. That was so lazy at some point because I felt like maybe I should sleep, gain some weight, come out glowing, and so I resorted to baking and writing and sleeping and eating a lot, but I failed to gain weight.
How's the baking going?
It's really good though. It's low scale, like just for birthdays, small. I'm learning, working on my stuff. I'm trying to see like those means of getting money for upkeep so that you don't have to depend on mommy or daddy and be independent.
Do you miss school?
Yeah, I do a lot. I actually miss my friends. I miss class. And honestly speaking, I missed that one lecture that I would not attend at 7 a.m. I now want it. Like, I really want it so bad. I miss everything. I miss the fact that we'd have to be doing coursework, being under tension. I feel like I've been so idle and I really want to graduate now.
Okay. I noticed at some point on social media there was a campaign that was happening during the lockdown, the Power of 10K, and that was about you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Talk to me about that.
Well, the Power of 10K campaign was a campaign I thought about around the end of April. I felt like lockdown wasn't ending, and I wanted to find a faster way of generating money for my treatment, because after I appeared on Perspectives last year on the 27th of July, a doctor in Nairobi picked interest, and there's a Rotarian called Mr. Raymond Kalema who actually went to Kenya. He met the doctor and they came up with a breakdown that was estimated at 23 million without transport costs and accommodation and feeding. So I thought of a way of raising this money, and I'm like, okay, if 2,300 people raised 10,000 shillings, I would get this money, and the rest I would like hustle it out. So I began the campaign called Power of 10K on 28th of April at 11 a.m. That is when I put out the first tweet.
So you're sitting in your bed at your uncle's house, and you get up and think, you know what, I need to do something about my situation.
Yes. And I put out that tweet, and surprisingly, at the end of the day, I had raised 2 million. And
at the end of that same day?
At the end of that same day, I had raised 2 million. And I was like, wow. So I didn't tell mommy, I didn't tell daddy. I was like, I'll first hit 5M, then I'll tell them. And in 3 days, I hit 5M. And then I'm like, okay, how am I going to break this news to them? Then I thought of a way. I was like, you know what? I woke up and this came to my mind. And by the way, we have 5M. My mom, being the crybaby that she is, she cried. She went to church. She was fasting. She was like, oh my God, what are people going to think about you? I told her I don't care what the world thinks. I need the money for treatment. And
wait, was she crying because she was happy that you'd gotten that much, or she was crying because she didn't want you to do something like that?
She was crying because she was confused. She always tells me, I think before thinking, whatever that means, I don't know. And she's like, sometimes I do things out of impulse. And that time I think it was just the need to get the money, like I needed to go for treatment after lockdown is lifted. So she told me, whatever it is, you have my blessing. And right now we stand at 10.2 million.
Wow.
From then, no, actually it's 11.2 because the last contribution came in from Joseph Cheptagai, the athlete, and he sent in a contribution of 1 million. So
wow.
It's now at 11.2. We have a balance of 12.8 to go.
Your target was 23 million.
23 million.
And that's to get you to Nairobi?
That is just for the treatment, minus accommodation, transport, and feeding. All I wanted was, if I could get that 23 million, I was pretty sure the money for transport would come, the money for accommodation would come. Because in between the fundraising, actually, Mr. Raymond got back to me and told me, Santa, you're so blessed. Someone has offered to give you 2 return tickets.
Wow.
And then there's a priest who came in to say, there's a family in Nairobi that is willing to take care of you for as long as you're there.
Oh, wow.
So I feel that is already covered, though I haven't spoken to these people in person.
So you don't know if that still stands up to now?
I believe it still stands because I'm hopeful, and yes, I am a lucky girl.
Wow. Wow, you just always have a way of reaching out to all of our emotions. The last time we spoke to you, you were with your dad, and I wanted to know how he's doing as well, and your sister.
Dad is fine. My sisters are okay. Mommy is okay. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be shocked to see me again because they felt like the first time I came out to them, it was like, are you really ready for this? And I wanted to come out and tell the world, I'm not contagious. Like, I should actually become like a tourist attraction, because I think I still stand as the only case. I don't know if there are others out there, but I think I still stand. And I felt like people had to know, like, I'm like a national treasure. Like, people should take interest.
I know it's been quite a year for you. The last time, okay, at some point we spoke after the interview, and you were at school, but you were doing really badly. You were really, really sick. You were totally down. And the next thing I was supposed to come and see you, and I never did. You traveled back to your parents' house. What was happening then?
Well, I got a relapse, and then on my way back from treatment, I got an accident. A car knocked me around my parents' house, and then my leg twisted. I couldn't walk for 6 weeks. I didn't want to go home because I believed I would come out of this. I stayed at hostel with my friends, with my best friend, my cousin, and some other people at hostel. I couldn't do anything for myself, but every time Daddy would call, I would say, yes, I'm okay, I'm fine.
Did he know about the car accident?
He knew a car had knocked me, but I made it look like it was just a scratch because I could not walk and I was fearing because I was having a relapse. Then I tell him a car knocked me, I can't walk. I thought of, okay, how would he feel?
He'd be on the next bus here.
I decided to keep it secret. I didn't eat for 14 days. My friends would force me to eat. My best friend would have to bathe me. I couldn't use the toilet. I was using a bucket. And it was really, okay, I felt like I was being a burden to them, but they were so supportive. My skin was peeling so bad. Every morning would wake up, they would have to dust the bed, and you really see this is part of you going down. Then I swallowed my pride. I told Daddy, I can't walk. I haven't walked for all these days. Being the sweet dad that he is, he arrived the next morning. I spoke to him in the evening. He didn't tell me anything. Next morning, Daddy was at hostel. He came to pick me. I expected him to be so mad at me, probably shout. He told me, you should have told me right from the start. And I felt bad. Daddy carried me from up my room, took me down, put me in a car. Next thing is we were on the next bus to Sorority. And when I reached home, Mommy was going for prayers. She broke down and began crying. And I felt like maybe they should have knocked me and I would just get up and walk and the wound would heal, because seeing both of them cry broke me, but I thought of a way of healing so fast. My friends were broken because I wasn't in school. I remember when I went home, my best friend would call almost on a daily. She would be like, Santa, when are you coming? And when Mommy would hear that, she would cry. Daddy would feel so bad. And I was just working towards getting better. I wanted to come back and show everyone I'm back. And I walked after 6 weeks.
What's your best friend's name?
She's called Angel Lorraine.
Okay. When you speak about a relapse, I want to understand what a relapse looks like for you.
A relapse is when the condition is reoccurring, and for me, my muscles stiffen, my skin goes back to originals, back it's so rough, and the scars become so visible, and it looks like I get crocodile skin, like that rough crocodile skin. And I look so bad. I have calcifications everywhere. They hurt. I literally can't do anything for myself except smile through the pain. Yeah, that is what it is for me.
So when you speak about, they were basically dusting, your skin off, so you can just really do this and it's falling off.
Yeah, that is what was happening, because these peelings here came off, like the elbows, as you can see, and I would sleep. And it was dry skin. I wasn't drinking water. The medicine from the wounds, then the relapse, the steroids. I feel it was just too much. So my skin would get tired and decide to rest on the bed. And in the morning, they would wake up, lay the bed. And surprisingly, there was never a look of disgust on their faces. It still moves me that they stayed and walked with me all through. There were those points they would have to take me to bathe, take me to use the toilet, which was a bucket, and there was never a look of disgust. I have the best friends.
Yes, you do. You really, really do. I pointed out earlier to you that your skin you were glowing earlier. What did you say?
I told you I drink water and sanitize. and I maintain social distance.
All right, Santa, let's take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Santa, you make me laugh so hard. Before we took a break, you spoke about the friends that were there for you, Angel and the others, and it's very difficult, even for just family, to take you to the toilet, bathe you, clean up, you know, all your everything. And I think it's important that they know that you appreciate them. So do you want to talk to them?
Yes, I do.
All right.
The first message goes out to my best friend, Angel Lorraine. It's been 3 years and I'm sure we have forever to go. I love you so very much, and I'm not going to cry because crying is for the weak-hearted, but you know how much I love you, and thank you so much. Sharon, Ronette, Hilary, Maria, you guys are just so many. Comfort, Maggie, the guys in class that began a fundraiser without my knowledge. Thank you so much for walking this journey with me. I'm ready to share my mom and my dad with you because when you're my friend, you automatically become a child to mommy and daddy. I love you so much. Thank you for loving me. Sharon, my sister, you're the best thing that has happened. Thank you, people, for making me look good. You're always there to do my hair, my nails.
Who did this up to, the nails and the everything?
Angel Lorraine did.
What's the most, I think, the thing that you will remember the most about Angel being there for you? What's that thing that you think back and say, I can't believe she did that?
The time I couldn't use the toilet. And she would ask me, do you want to pee? She would see me being so uncomfortable and be like, let me get the bucket. Then as I'm peeing, she's telling me all sorts of things and she's laughing, and I would feel so bad, She would go to class sometimes and leave me back and I would cry. Then when she comes back, she's like, did you eat? I'm like, yes. Why are your eyes swollen? I tell her, I think I'm tired. Then she will say, you were crying. Then she will say, this chick girl. Begins from there. And it felt so good how her family accepted me without asking why XZ.
Yeah.
They call me their own, and it's really a blessing.
You mentioned earlier that crying is for the weak-hearted. I don't think so. I think, you know, it's a good thing to cry and release that. The thing, when you're speaking about your friends, and I look at you and a lot of people look at you from the feedback that we got from the last show, you inspire so many people. And I think the biggest thing about it is that you fall and then you get back up. And a lot of us do not have half the troubles that you do, but when we fall, we just stay longer on the ground, you know, thinking up ways. But you get up. You spent 14 days without eating. You had a car accident. You're dealing with dermatomyositis. And look at you. What is the thing for you, your push factor, the thing that just pushes you back on your feet?
My dad always tells me the sky is not the limit. Aim for the stars. And every time I'm down there, I remember, Santa, you've come from very far. You would not walk, you would not eat, you would not cry. There is something out there that is so great that is waiting for you. So I really can't afford to be down. And I remember I was called contagious. And now I know I'm not contagious, but my smile is. And that is what I was told. So I wake up every morning, look into the mirror, and I'm like, Santa, you're not contagious, but your smile is. And then I think to myself, these scars are my crown. However much it tilts, it's still going to go back to its position. So I really want to be a strong person that people will look out and be like, well, she has problems. Because you find people with pimples who can't step out in the morning. But yo, I have the whole of this, and I have a whole world to face. But then I don't sit back and look down on myself, because if you look down on yourself, no one will bring you up. It's the you in you to be you.
Yeah.
because at the end of it, people are going to rate you, shake you, and break you. But how strong you stand is what defines you.
You've been involved in a number of campaigns to raise money for your treatment. How is that going? I know there's, the 10K, which you're left with 12 point something million. But have you gotten any calls, Rotary and, any other initiative? I know there was a Santa Lucy initiative.
Yes, there was. There was a Santa Lucy initiative by the Rotary Club of Chitante, and it is still there, though COVID happened and we could no longer meet. But I want to say a very special thank you to you, Josephine, because ever since I appeared on your show last year, a lot of people have come up. First and foremost was Mr. Raymond Kalema. He picked interest and told me, we shall raise the money. He introduced me to the Rotary Club of Chitante, and there I met very many sweet souls. Thank you so much, Rotary Club of Chitante. Madame Caro on a monthly basis gives me 500,000 for treatment, and that is to cater for the creams, the injections. Mr. Hannington.
Sorry, hold on. 500,000 every month.
Every first of the month.
For how long has she been doing this?
She began giving me that money on 1st of December last year, and she said she's going to do it for a whole year. And I'm so grateful, because it's not every day that someone will pick from their pockets on a monthly basis to give you something to use.
Yeah.
Mr. Hannington of Bagafundi, he stepped up to work on my meals because, my diet is so strict, and yeah, he gives me food on a daily basis. He actually told me, feel free to walk in and pick whatever you want. That was like heaven on earth.
Every day?
Because every day.
So do you go every day?
When COVID happened, I stopped. But
Okay.
those days, I would make sure I eat my chicken. Then Jessa, Mr. Godfrey Mulwana of Jessa, also gave me milk, and he does it twice a month. I get 2 boxes of milk and 2 boxes of yogurt after every 2 weeks.
Wow.
So in a month, I get 4 boxes of milk and 4 boxes of yogurt.
I know that the food was a big factor in also your treatment. I knew you had to take milk and you had to have what
A lot of cream.
Okay, a lot of cream. And is that something that we know that is sorted right now?
Yes, it's sorted, and that's why you can see my skin is really improving.
Yeah.
I told you I was drinking water and sanitizing, but yeah, the diet has helped my skin become so okay, and here we are now. I believe, I have hope. The Santa with the scars is going to be a Santa of yesterday. There is a Santa of tomorrow coming.
There's an initiative that you mentioned that your class took up upon themselves. How is that going?
They began a fundraiser. It was led by 2 girls, Comfort and Maggie. And that was the time when I could not walk. They spoke to very many lecturers, and the lecturers picked interest. They actually blamed me for not having told them. But back then, I was living in fear of rejection. So I couldn't really come out and tell people what it is I was going through. I would prefer to cry in the dark and show people a very strong face. I actually had this thing of, well, this is here to stay.
Yeah.
So now class began fundraising, my lecturers began fundraising, and the last time I checked, we had raised 800,000 from school. I haven't received the money yet, but I believe between COVID and now, it has multiplied. So I'm going to Nairobi, and I'm going to meet my rheumatologist.
Okay. You mentioned after the last show the people who reached out to you. Quite a number of people called and wrote to us as well, looking for your contact. But I want to know what were the frustrating things that came out of some of those calls.
Well, there were negatives and positives. The positives overweighed the negatives.
I want to hear the negatives first so we can clean them up with the positives.
Well, the negatives. So there were those that would call to say we're desperate, we are now out there. To me, it's not desperacy. I believe sharing my story is the first step at healing. And the fact that I came out meant I needed help. I couldn't keep on hiding because if I hid, for how long was I going to be crying in the dark?
Yeah.
So for all those who thought I was being desperate, I was being so needy, yes, I am needy. That is why I came out and I was asking for help, and that is why I'm still running the campaign.
And you're getting the help.
And
That's
I'm
what
getting
counts.
the help. And when I get okay, I'll stop being needy and come back and say thank you.
And help somebody else.
And help somebody else.
There was that particular call you talked to me about. What did this random person say to you?
The person called and was actually criticizing me. Okay, the first thing was, why was I going out there and showing people the problems that we have? Very many people actually found my coming on set so disturbing. Why did you have to show them those things? People are going to criticize you. I have lived with criticism, and it is part of me. There is one who called and Daddy had to pick up and tell the person, I am not begging at your door. I'm begging at everyone's door. If it was individual, it would really mean this is hidden, but I've come out in the light. We are doing this, I am doing this because, one, everyone knows my mom is unemployed, my dad is the breadwinner, and 500,000 will not take care of Santa. That is just what I need, like in a period of a week or 2 weeks. So I can't be robbing him of all his salary. That's why I reached out to see if there are those who can help out.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the good things and leave the other, I don't want to use a bad one.
The good things.
The good things that have come out of people reaching out.
One, Santa loves the spotlight. It makes me feel good when I'm walking and someone is like, hi Santa, I saw you on TV, you inspire me. To all those that I inspire, I kindly ask you to keep on fighting. I mean, the world will put you down, but you don't have to let the world leave you down there. You can pick up the pieces and you'll always move on. People have reached out. We've raised the 11.2 million. There are those people who call and like, I'm sending you 30,000. It's not for the power of 10K. I want you to go and slay. Yes, I look a slayer, but it is because I want to be happy. I want to live life. What if these cars go eventually? What memories will I have from back then? I want to wear them now that I still have them and show the world that you can still be happy in your pain. To all those that have called to take me for treats, Estabirundi, thank you so much. You've made coming out and sharing my story so sweet. You call me your sister. You advertise me so much and it feels so good. To all those that just call to know how it is I'm doing every day, thank you so much. You are a blessing and may God bless you all. To those that have reached out, may you never lack.
Wow. Your heart amazes me, and your confidence and the way you talk about things. And yes, your smile is very contagious. I smile the most when I'm speaking to you on this show. Thank you so much, Santa. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We're coming to you from the Kampala Serena Conference Center, the NTV Uganda studios, and we're speaking to Santa Lucy Fungaro. Santa, I just remembered that the last time we spoke was your birthday. How old are you now? You're 20?
Yes.
20. What does 20 feel like?
20 feels like I'm no longer a teen. Like I'm going out there. I remember I told you, I'm going to get married, I'm going to graduate. No, I'm going to graduate, then I'll that order. But now COVID has happened. I don't know when I'll graduate. But I will graduate.
You're going to graduate. Okay. I wanted to find out before we close, what is your plan now going forward?
My plan now is to find a way of raising the remaining money, the 12.8 million that is needed, because honestly speaking, I can't rely on my parents. That is the honest truth. So
you have two sisters?
I have two sisters,
yeah.
One in Form 3, one in P6. And we've devised a way with my friends that would like help raise the money I bake. So I want to take baking to a whole nother level. If people can make orders with me, yes, whatever comes out, we'll go in for the treatment. Me and my friends do the braiding, we do nails, we do makeup. You can hit us up, and yeah, that money will come in towards treatment. And also I'm calling out to those that feel like they can still help. Even when you've helped, you can still. Those that want to talk to me and ask me anything, I'm so available. You can still get to me. I'm willing to share my story everywhere and anywhere, for as long as it's going to inspire you. And I'm looking forward to going to Nairobi. Santa has to get to Nairobi at least end of this year, at least. And I believe I'll get the 12.8 million that is needed now. I have hope going forward that yes, I will. And these scars are going to be scars of yesterday, and tomorrow is going to begin, but I'll still wear them with pride if I fail to go.
All right. We asked your parents to send out a message, and we'll be playing that shortly. Actually, let's play that. Then I want to get your closing thoughts on, you know, life in general, and a message that you'd like to send out to the people watching.
I'm called Boniface Alicha, and this is Jesuina, parents to Santa, Seminarian Dennis, and behind the camera is Seminarian Geoffrey. Once more, want to thank and appreciate all of you for the wonderful support you have given towards the plight of Santa. On the 27th day of July 2019, Santa was on NTV on what she codenamed I Am Not Contagious. We want to appreciate all of you who offered support to her plight. Life after that has been both positive and negative. There are those who have reached us positively, and there are also those who have reached us negatively. As parents, we get bogged down when you meet somebody and say, so you are the parent, you are the father, you are the mother to this girl. So you mean you have been having such a child? It has been a challenge. To those of you who have positively supported us, we want to say thank you, and thank you so very much. We want to appreciate God for the gift of life and for the gift of His family that enabled us to sail this far. We want in a special way to thank Santa for the zeal, for the foresight, and for her own initiative that she has always continued to move. May the good Lord Santa bless you. We want to appreciate the management of NTV, and in a special way Josephine Karunji, who brought to the limelight the plight of this young girl, Santa. We appreciate the management of Jessa Dairy that has offered her milk, Mr. Hannington of Bagafundis for that delicious meal that Santa partakes, Rotarian Carol of Rotary Club of Chitante, thank you so much. Rotarian Raymond of the Rotary Club of Chitante, together with all the Rotary members of Chitante, thank you and thank you so much. All the media houses that have aired out the plight of this young girl, we appreciate you. We appreciate Ida Kigosi of Denmark, whose daughter has a similar condition to Santa, and she has willingly shared the medication of her daughter with Santa. Thank you so much, Ida. We want to thank all the friends of Santa who have always stood by her. May the good Lord bless you. We want to appreciate all people of goodwill, all those who have donated to Santa, all those who have pledged, young and old. We say thank you, and may the good Lord repay you. Santa, the sky is no longer the limit. Aim high, and you always achieve your heart's desires. We as your parents give you our blessing, and we shall always stand by and for you in all that it takes. Thank you so much once again, and thank you so much, NTV.
Your parents amaze me, but then I look at you and I can understand, looking at the person that you are and what you've managed to do for yourself. Getting that 11 point something is a lot. It's really a lot. I know that a lot of people try to do campaigns and it's extremely difficult, but I think even your spirit, the way you speak to people, the way you reach out to people, has really impacted people, and you know they want to be able to help. What is the final thing that you want to say on the show today?
I'd like to call upon those that are watching right now to kindly reach out. My numbers are still the same. They've never changed. They will not change. Help me get the 12.8 million that is needed. And whatever extra expenses that come, I believe God will find a way for me. His timing is always the most perfect. And I would also want to say, stay real, keep it real, don't fake anything, because when I came out last year, I didn't know what people would say about me, honestly. But I decided to come out and share my story, and ever since then, it's been the best thing that has happened. I no longer have to hide. Yes, I wasn't hiding, but I would not like really go out there. But these days I walk out and I'm like, okay, this is Santa. Some of my friends call me fresh kid. They're like, Santa, you're a celebrity. And I'm like, no, I only want to inspire people. I want people to learn to embrace themselves, just like I embraced myself. And yeah, if you have scars, wear them with pride, because your scars define you. And dermatomyositis is not contagious. Neither is it a disease, it's a condition. So do not stigmatize, because stigma is a silent killer. And you might be having people out there that may be having conditions that are similar to mine. Please take them to hospital, because the more you delay, the more it gets worse. We delayed in my case, and that is why it got this bad. Thank you very much.
Just one quick question from me. From when we last spoke, and I know that you've had quite a bit of media coverage since then, have you had anyone reach out and say, I know somebody with something similar? Do we know if there's anybody else?
Not really. The last person that reached out was actually on Twitter, but the person wasn't direct. The person was instead criticizing me.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't pay much attention, because he was saying, why are you lying to people that you have this condition alone? So I had to tell the person, I didn't say I am alone. I told him, according to my doctors, I was told. It's not that I'm claiming it on my own. I was told, and that was in 2005, that I was the only medically registered case since 1954.
Yeah.
So I was defending my crown. If someone else is taking it, I'll be ready to crown them.
All right, Santa, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. It's always a pleasure having you here, and you look really, really good. I know you want to get into the modeling business as well.
Oh yeah. If there is anyone out there that wants anyone to model for them, I have beautiful scars. You'll actually fail to know what angles to capture. The scars are just the best thing.
Thank you, Santa, for taking the time to speak with us. And once again, a big thank you to Santa's friends who have carried her through this period, and to her parents, and more to you for being willing to share your story every time you're called upon to do that. That brings us to the end of our show for tonight. Thank you for watching. Coming up is NTV Weekend Edition.